Also tonight, 2 News investigates a mortuary mix-up.
A Springfield family tells 2 News investigates that they got a shock during the funeral visitation of a loved one. And we want to warn you, some of the photos you're about to see may be disturbing. Natalie Tyndall is getting answers and finding out why the funeral home is already in trouble with the state.
This is what Paul Limley looked like before he died. And this is what he looked like on the day he was buried. Paul's family asked 2 News investigates to get answers after getting the surprise they say should never happen to any family. The death of a loved one is never easy, but when 65-year-old Paul Limley died last month, his family could sum up their experience in one word.
I was horrified.
The family says they first noticed something wrong at the visitation, 8 days after Paul died.
The funeral director opened the casket, and we were shocked at what we saw.
The man lying in the casket did not look like Paul.
His skin was black. He had clothing on that did not belong to him.
The family hired Grun Funeral Home, which has locations in Cincinnati and Dayton. They say Grun never notified them or gave them a reason for the discoloration. Family members say there was not even an attempt to cover up the discoloration with cosmetics, a service they paid for.
I have nightmares seeing my brother lay there.
2 News investigates found it's common to have discoloration of the body, especially since Paul died from liver cancer and was jaundiced at the time of his death. The body was also kept for 8 days before the visitation. That gave it more time to decompose. But at least one industry regulator says there's supposed to be communication between the funeral home and family about all details when it comes to displaying the body.
Does the funeral director have to let the family know about it?
They should inform the family, yes. Family should never be surprised.
Vanessa Niekamp is the director of the board that holds all funeral homes in the state accountable. So I asked her about the Limley family situation.
If a body was presented unfavorably and it was in the control of the funeral director and the funeral home to have done something about that, the board would usually cite that under unprofessional conduct.
But I found we were not the only ones investigating Grun Funeral Home. They're already in trouble with the state.
That the location in Dayton was advertising funeral services and potentially was operating more as a funeral home than a retail space.
According to the complaint 2 News investigates obtained, the board determined the owner, director, and funeral home itself falsely advertised their Dayton location and was operating that location as a funeral home without a license. Niekamp says the funeral home gets a hearing. They either face a fine, a license suspension, or could even be shut down for violating state code. I went to the funeral home's Cincinnati location, which does have a valid license, and questioned owner Eric Lusain about it.
Were you providing services out of your Dayton location?
We have a casket store. We sell funeral merchandise, so no, we were not providing funeral services.
Lusain plans to fight this complaint. Lemley's family has also filed a complaint with the board. They say they want to know why they weren't notified of the condition of Paul's body. Well, we wanted to know too, so I asked.
Why weren't they notified of the discoloration?
Well, you know, notification of the discoloration, we have a choice, okay, when we lay a body out. And we try to honor the family's wishes as best we can. We didn't feel that if we had suggested a closed casket that they would have liked that. Everybody likes to see their loved one one last time before they go.
Lusain says he's completely refunded the money of the funeral services to the family and admits he should have advised them to have the visitation earlier so the body didn't have as long to get discolored. But Limley's family says it's not about the money. They want to make sure this never happens to anyone else.
They made our last memory of our loved one a nightmare.
The new complaint against Grun Funeral Home will be reviewed by the board. Lusain has also submitted a request for the proper licensing for his Dayton location. We'll let you know what happens. Natalie Tyndall, 2 News investigates.